What's going on, good people of the internet? It is time once again for Comics Unmasked, the podcast where a bunch of folks shoot the breeze and talk about comic books and such. I had the privilege of sitting down with Emmet Garnham, the owner of Haven of Heroes, a gaming and comic shop located in Port Jervis, New York, and it was a great experience sitting down with him, talking with him about the pre-order system, talking about the experience of being a shop owner and influencing and talking with folks about the different books, and just the culture of comic books as a whole. I really enjoyed sitting down with Emmet, and I'm excited for you guys to check out this episode. I'm really interested in sitting down with other comic shops and getting their feedback about the industry and how fans can really engage better with the comic store experience. So if you're a local comic store owner, or if you know your local store would want to sit down with us, have them reach out to us via email at contact@comicsunmasked.com, and I would love to schedule something with you. Thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoy the episode. So in terms of this, what is your origin? Because you obviously are like a wealth of knowledge for the average comic shop, but like, what was the thing that made you like interested in the medium? What was the thing that interested you? What was the first comic you remember reading? Because you've been around like the block a few times, so you obviously you were probably back at like when the Comics Co potentially, like in terms of that era of reading.
Not quite. I'm not that old. I look that old.
Gotcha. Okay.
But so I started about at 7 or 8 years old. I had two
Okay.
local friends who were already into comics, and they turned me on and to comics. But it was funny. It was like, "Oh, you haven't read comics? Well, you don't get to read any of these comics yet." So they gave me Sad Sack,
Oh,
who was
okay.
like a Beetle Bailey.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I read those for a while, and I was like, yeah, these are good. They're funny. My family had been military. So like it was, it was quite a good time. But then who these guys were into, my one buddy was into X-Men and stuff. But my other buddy was into war books and Swamp Thing.
Okay.
And that's what hooked me. Sergeant Rock and Swamp Thing were my shit.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So 7 or 8 years old, started reading. I moved from New York to Colorado. Had some family struggles, and we ended up in not a great neighborhood in Colorado. And the only place I was allowed to go was the comic shop. Mile High
Understandable.
Comics, the famous Mile High Comics,
Yeah.
actually had stores all over Colorado at the time. So that's the shop I'd go to. And they never kicked me out. They
Oh.
let me stay all day. I could hang out there all day long. They let me read books out of the bins. I didn't have any money, so they didn't make me buy anything, and I could stay all day. And they would talk comics with me. They were like, "Well, what did you think of this story? And why did you think it went here?" And like really they were really taught me how stories were put together.
Right.
And like when I would like trip along it on myself, I would say, "Oh, well, then this showed that this was going to happen." They go, foreshadowing. Like, and they like really educated me on storytelling. And so I had about 2 years of that. And then I moved back to New York, and I didn't have a comic shop,
Okay.
not close to my house. So then once I started driving, at 16, I would go down to a huge flea market. And the
Ooh.
same buddies I grew up with still were in the area. So we would all go together and like go through this. There had to be 1,000 dealers, not all
Oh.
comics.
Well, yeah, logically, yeah.
Flea market, everything. And you just go from place to place. You got comics. And then we'd see whatever we could pick up and get from there. And that just continued. Now, the aspect of selling, when I was still young, my dad did the flea market as a part-time gig.
Okay.
So he would bring me along. So I learned all that negotiating at the table. And then he let me have a little stand, and I could sell baseball cards. I would never sell my comics early on.
Right, yeah.
So it's just my sports cards I was selling, and then like little other toys and trinkets that I would find. So yeah, that's what got me into selling and getting to know really the whole business is about negotiations, right? Whether you're selling,
we really think about it.
Yeah, whatever you're selling, especially when you're selling used stuff because you're having to buy it. So there's the negotiations in buying it. And then
Trying
the
to value
negotiations.
things of that nature.
Yeah. So there was a lot of that. So, and then, I was in the service for 6 years, and every comic shop is like a home away from home,
Mm.
right? So wherever you'd go, if you found the local comic shop, you found friends,
Yeah.
right? So you could go in there and go, hey, who's a Batman fan? Who's a Sergeant Rock fan? Who's a, or, oh, you like him? I like this guy because of this. And then you just go
Mm.
back and forth, and you didn't feel homesick anymore, right? You got a little bit
Yeah.
of home everywhere you went. So I always said that because of Mile High in Denver and what it did for me, a safe place to hang out. And then being in the military, every comic shop that I went always made me feel welcome. You hear a lot of things now of like, oh, you go in and the people don't talk to you and they're snobs and
Mm.
this, that, and the other thing. It's just society in general that people are kind of closed,
Yeah, that's a great
right?
way to put about it. Yeah, I must say, I've had my fair share of shops over the years. Like I remember, like my home shop, they always made sure to look out for me because my dad would rain hell otherwise. But like, but I would go visit other places, and the vibe would just be different. I remember I went to
Right,
school in Indiana, and that was definitely an eye opener. That like not everyone's gonna view you the same, even though you read the same books. If that
right.
makes sense.
Yeah, my shop is the opposite. Like we welcome everybody that comes through the door, whether they're reading comics or not,
Mm.
whether they buy anything or not. They're meant to feel welcome.
Of
They're
course.
not chased around the store. What do you need? What are you looking for?
Mm.
It's enjoy. If you have a question, please feel free.
Mm.
Um, and then you can get into a conversation. You see their ears peek up when you start talking about comics, and
Mm.
like if the ears start peeking up, oh, so what are you reading, or what are you into, or what books did you like, or what's your favorite book, and then it goes from there. And I love storytelling, so if
Most
people
definitely,
want to
yeah.
come up, yeah, people want to come up and tell their story, I'll listen. I love stories. Period. Get either telling them or hearing them.
Okay.
So yeah, that's. I mean, it's a great job, man, if you can get
It
it. I
sounds
mean,
awesome. Like it's definitely something that I've looked into myself, like for down the road. And it's like, especially when it comes to the evolution of the comic shop, we've seen it go through so many phases from newsstand into like specialty store, and then the bubble bursted and things evolved from there. But like, obviously, you've been doing this for a little over 10 years. What made you want to finally like take that leap and do it for yourself?
um, I was going to be retiring from my job within 10 years from when I opened.
Okay.
So what I said is if I can get it off the ground and just keep it going, like at first I was just going to open after I got off work and
Mm.
that, but I ended up bringing in partners who would run it when I wasn't there, and it struggled for a long time, paying all these people, and
Right.
we moved into a really big space, and originally I got a space that I could pay out of pocket. If I didn't make a dime,
Mm.
I
Okay.
could still do my hobby and hang out with
Right.
my comic friends. And so I got a little windfall of money, and I was like, it's perfect time. Let's get into this.
Mm.
And I had done retail when I got out of the service for a little bit before I got into 911. I
Mm.
worked 911 for 27 years.
Wow.
I was a supervisor at a 911 center, doing about a half a million calls a year.
That had to be stressful.
Yeah, it can be stressful. It's you have to learn how to like separate
Mm.
work from life,
Yeah.
and it can be really hard. We lost a lot of good people that were good at their job because it does grind.
Mm.
Being a supervisor, I was a little less on every call,
Right.
so I kind of had that benefit.
Mm.
But
Okay.
I did want to move on to something that I loved, and
Mm.
I'm a kind of a creative, so I could draw, but I couldn't tell stories, and I
Okay.
couldn't I couldn't come up with the action sequences. So I can like copy a drawing, I can
Mm.
draw something out of my head, but I could never get into comics because I wasn't good enough in the storytelling sense. It's the hardest thing artists have to do. Guys who
Gotcha.
can really tell stories, they aren't appreciated enough.
Yeah.
They really aren't. Even in the industry.
I would say so, yeah, because like I there's a big appreciation for writers, but like even back in the day, you would have writer artists because the artists
Yeah,
would be the ones who were trying to like do everything and try to, and then like yeah, you would have someone come in, the editor would like point in the right direction, but the artist would be the one doing the majority of the work. So
work.
like they were the innovators, they were the ones doing most of the things for the industry.
Right. And well, and now it's everybody's fixated on cover artists.
Yeah,
Then you
holy
open the
crap.
book and you read it and you enjoy the book so much. It's the
Hmm.
guy who's doing the interiors
Yeah.
or woman. It's whoever's doing the interiors is really telling the story. If you
Hmm.
love the story, that's who you should be following. Um,
Yeah.
I think the greatest one right now in the business is
Ooh.
Hayden Sherman.
Okay.
Hayden Sherman, he's not been in the business too long, but the things he's doing with his art and his paneling and his color choice, uh, I
Now,
think
is that
blows
interiors
everybody
and
away.
covers or just interiors?
He does covers too, um, and the covers are really good.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not a cover guy.
Okay.
Like I'm
It's
not
got to be
into this
hard
whole.
being a shop owner, like not being a cover guy.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a big variant guy. I don't do store exclusives.
Really?
Yeah, I don't
Like
believe
even
in
if
them.
someone asks for it, like you're not like wanting to go for that.
If you want a 1 in 25, I get my customers what they want. But
Hmm.
here's my deal. You want a 1 in 25, I'll get it for you for free. But you
Hmm.
have to buy 25 issues.
Oof. That's fair.
So I'll even give you a good discount on the 25 issues,
Okay, I can get
right?
behind that.
And I'll give you the 1 in 25 for free.
Hmm.
But
I can definitely get
I
behind that.
I can't risk 25 issues and put them in the, what are they in the when you go to conventions, all these
Hmm.
issues are in the dollar bins of all these
Yeah.
dealers because they had to get the 1 in 25, the 1 in 50, the 1 in 100.
Yeah.
So all those books are going to end up possibly in the trash and the garbage, and they're
Mm.
definitely in a lot of dollar bins. So
Yeah, it's crazy how like some keys, like especially indie keys, because of these different like projects getting greenlit that you can just go find in a dollar bin these days. I remember when like Beauty got announced for FX, you saw that like going crazy over that.
yeah, 100%. Indies is where you're going to hit home runs,
Mm.
right? That's where you're going to hit a home run if you're picking on indies.
Mm.
Um, I mean, you'll do well with Marvel and DC, but if you look at the majority of the variants and exclusive variants and stuff, over 90% of them are failures
Really?
in the aftermarket,
Okay.
right?
That's interesting. Listen, we're noticing a really interesting trend right now, especially with Absolute Batman. The cover A is what's
Is
booming the most.
booming.
Like, yeah, there's a couple like here and there, like the Jim Lee cover, and then a couple others are up and up, but it's mostly the cover A that's like hitting the highest sales right now.
Yeah. 5 or 10 years down the road, people don't even know what issue it is when they show the variant covers,
Right.
and they're like, I don't know what that is. I mean, they're just not holding their value, especially store exclusives.
Mm, yeah.
People who are making, oh, this is 500. We're doing a 1 of 500 exclusive cover for like issue 4 of pick anything, like
Mm.
any indie book that they can get 500 made from like Dynamite or Vault or anything like that.
Or like when DC Rebirth had so many different like store exclusives, those went crazy.
They did. Look them up now.
Yeah. Like I was in college when DC Rebirth started, and my store had a Harley Quinn cover, I believe, and that sat on the shelf for 2 years. And I was just like,
Yeah.
damn.
But it's not good for the industry either. Like these are quick sales to increase your margins, right? You don't know how
Mm,
to make margins, so you make a product that makes you margins.
yeah.
That's like they did it in sports cards years ago. Oh, this limited edition of 100,000,
Hmm.
or anything that's made to collect usually doesn't. So all 500 issues of an exclusive are going to be in mint
Yeah.
condition because everybody's going to save it like it's gold.
Yeah.
And you might look at a other independent book that doesn't have any variants, and they only printed 3,500 copies of it.
Hmm.
And by year 10, when it finally makes television, there's only about 50 good copies out there.
And like you look at the difference between like Absolute Batman, you're seeing like over 3,000 9.8s hitting
Yeah.
CGC's desk. But then you look at Something's Killing the Children, which not only was a limited print run, but it was a limited print run affected by COVID. And it's
Yeah.
one of those things where it's even doubly rare in terms of that scale. It's like that's even like a conversation in its own right.
Yeah. I'm also anti-grading.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unless you're selling your book to tomorrow. So CGC, who is quote unquote the leader at the moment, if you look on their website, their guarantee is that it's authentic. They don't guarantee the grade. They don't guarantee protection. And these are all things that people have been not told, but it's inferred that the card is protected, that the grade is guaranteed. And none of these things are. They're not UV protected. If for long-term storage, the chances that these plastics will be damaged over the years by sunlight, by LED lighting in the house. There's no guarantee. They haven't been around long enough to understand what's it like.
Right.
What's the book going to be like if you crack it out after 20 years?
Yeah, and like it's crazy too because like you're even noticing companies like Comic Capsule or different brands who are trying to make like covers and UV protection for the slabs, and it's like we're having to make slabs for your slabs, and it's like I've even been loving like just comic capsules on their own for my books because I like those kind of things. But it's like I would prefer this unless it's like something super rare and CGC's there that day. I might consider it, but I would rather spend money on this because I know that it's UV protected. They tested it. They made sure because they made this with us in mind, not just because, oh, you have created artificial wealth with the idea of a CGC, if that makes sense.
1,000%. Exactly. It's all artificial. It's all in the perception.
Right.
Right. If you're not selling your book, and it's a really high-end book, you get a really good Mylar bag with archival paper backboard, put a carval paper between the front cover and the first page, and store it in a temperature and humidity controlled place, and it'll be perfect. It'll be better than the slab.
Oh, for sure.
But if you're selling it, you're going to get the best price. That's all the people who are doing this as a second job. It's like their side hustle.
And like, don't get me wrong, I can get behind like Golden Age and Silver Age stuff, but it's like when I've been noticing recently, like the Absolute situation or things of that nature, where people are asking for like exuberant amounts just because you paid 30, 50 bucks for a slab. It's like, what are you doing? It seems very odd to go about it that way.
Right. And the cost is going up and up and up because who owns CGC is BlackRock and Vanguard.
Yup.
So they need to make 15% more every year for the shareholders. So that's why you got 9 9s and 10s that came out.
Yeah.
So people would crack their 9 8s to try to get a 9 9 or a 10. It's just, and then now that they're in, they're in with auction houses and they're in GPA lists all their sales. I mean, it just seems so fixed.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. So the main thing that I've been seeing when it comes to your content as of late, and you've even been like talking to Scott Snyder of all people about this kind of stuff, is subscriptions, and you try to advocate for subscriptions, and that's been the biggest thing that I've been trying to push for when it comes to my content recently, is trying to educate people about the importance of subscriptions, the importance of pre-orders, because like, while yes, everyone's gonna buy Batman, like you'll see Batman always be published, you don't ever have to pre-order like a copy of Batman because your comic shop's probably gonna have it. They're gonna have the newest event starring Batman. So 9 times out of 10, unless it's like,
but how many will they have?
Exactly.
Like Absolute Batman, I went heavy on it because I knew me and Scott had talked about it before it came out.
Right.
I was super excited about it. He's so good for comic shops, man. He really is fighting for us every day. And this was I went heavy, and I still sold completely out.
That's insane.
I gained 15 subscribers from Absolute.
Nice.
I have 15 new subscribers who only get Absolute books.
Why do you think that is? Because like I've speculated. I've told people that like the Absolute universe is finally giving people a fresh jumping on point that isn't decades upon decades of the material.
1,000%.
That's what I've been trying.
That's why it'll hang around. If somebody doesn't come in, there's going to be a time where there's a lull, and it may drop a little bit, but they have to, like they did in the past, just hang in there.
Exactly.
Just hang in there, because the grand swell will come up, and like you're getting new generations of people. And this is going to be their Batman, and this is going to be their Superman and their Wonder Woman, and they are going to stick with that for many, many years. And it won't be too deep for anybody in the next generation to jump on. In 5 years, kids come from 10 to 15, and now they want to read some Absolute, or 16 years old, and they getting the Absolutes and reading those. They'll be able to get the trades. They'll be available, and it'll all be fresh, and they still be able to catch up pretty quickly, and then it'll be their Batman.
Right.
Marvel to me is lost.
Ooh,
they have no idea.
I said that in a video recently where I genuinely feel like no one's driving the bus, and I feel like you just hit the nail on the head. Yes.
I don't know if it's CB's fault or his hands are tied. I don't know, because I don't know the man, and I haven't spoke to him. But they genuinely do not know what they're doing. They've rebooted Spider-Man so many times to make him a teenager. He doesn't really wisecrack like he used to. No,
not really, no.
Which was like a big selling point for him. I mean, he didn't wisecrack like Deadpool, but it was his thing. Yeah, it was his thing. A lot of this stuff is just not great,
right? Because like you'll have your hit things. The thing, like heck, the thing that like has everyone talking right now is that Stephanie Phillips has been doing so good that her Daredevil is sparking interest. But like, genuinely, it feels as if, other than those rare instances of a creator coming in and doing numbers like her or Jeff Lemire or Jason Aaron occasionally, it feels as if Marvel themselves has no like direction. They keep putting a banger here and there because of the MCU, like, oh, we got to spark interest for this character, and like, oh, Marvel Rivals is doing well, so we'll put Invisible Woman back in her sexy costume, and like they don't know what they're doing to
their continuity is their best selling is X-Men. X-Men is their best, and the X-Men continuity is
a mess.
Completely effed. It's an absolute mess.
And they tried to fix it with Hoxpox, and then they were like, you know what, screw Hoxpox, and it was like, what are you doing?
They don't trust in anything. Give it a chance. Like, so I think one of the best eras was when DC had Vertigo just started.
Yes.
The person they had in charge of that, and I can never remember her name, but she was amazing.
Karen Berger?
Was it Karen Berger or somebody before her? I can't remember.
I'm actually curious.
She was the first editor or talent.
Karen was the founder of Vertigo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was so good at finding talent. But then they gave them a chance. Here's a book. Doesn't matter how much it sells. You're going to get 50, 75, 100 issues.
I miss those days so much.
Right? And find your audience. And it works, because Walking Dead, it took till issue 8 before it doubled its numbers. And then, and doubling its numbers was only like to 8 or 10,000.
Yeah.
Right. And then of course it just built on that, and it went crazy by issue 20.
Most definitely.
But like, you got to find your audience. Like, cutting these guys off after 6 issues. Oh, it hasn't started to sell yet. Well, you need character development. You need the story to develop.
I feel so vindicated right now. This has been everything I've been saying for months. Like, I appreciate it.
Oh, we're right. We're simpatico, man.
Yes.
But really, like, the things, they need to have a couple of lines on both Marvel and DC that also are old school, begin and end in each book.
Fair enough. I
No
can get
sick
behind
issue
that.
arcs.
That was kind of
Let's
like what
get
I was
all
pitching with like the world's finest. I keep telling people the best way DC could reach not only a younger audience without like baby talking them would be just giving them a world's finest universe and having
yep.
like a handful of things where it is like Batman, Superman, but you have like a world's finest Batman and Robin or a Teen Titans, a Justice League, where it's like one and dones, but it
Yep.
has a stable continuity that anybody could jump in and follow. Kind of like Absolute, where it's like you could go over here, or you could go over here, or you could go in the middle with Mainline. I feel like a world's finest universe would be very healthy for the current DC universe.
They do not understand how hard it is to when somebody comes in and says, I don't know what to read. I'm starting to read comics, and they're like, oh, how about this Daredevil? It's issue number 3. Is any good? I'm like, well, you have to read issue 1 and 2 because it's a 6-issue arc, and you won't know where you're at. And it could be issue 22,
Right.
and you can't even come in and read it because you need to have read either before. If it's the beginning of an arc,
Right, of course, yeah.
But they also don't put that on the covers of the books.
Yeah, they used
I can't
to
read 150. Yeah, they used to say part 1 of, part 2 of. Once in a blue moon they do it, but in regular running books, Marvel doesn't do it, DC doesn't do it. Like in the Batman books, they don't do it. But they want this 6-issue arc because the book market trade paperbacks sell so well for them.
Right, yeah.
So they want the story to begin and end in a trade paperback. So 6 or 7 issues to tell your story, no less, no more. You have to wrap it up so we can fit it in a trade. I think that's fine for most of the books, but you need jumping on points for people to get to know the characters.
Right.
Like a space. And then if you're going to have 5 Batman books, there has to be somebody holding down the continuity. Should be the editor. They're not doing it. And watching the voice, right?
Yeah.
Because what a lot of people don't understand is like everybody has their own voice, like
Yeah.
each character. If they have 5 different voices, they're 5 different Batman. Make them from different worlds. That's also fine. But figure it the F out.
Yeah.
Because this, they're all the same Batman. They don't sound the same.
Yeah.
They don't have the same morals. They don't have they're not the same person.
Like, honestly, I remember when Rebirth came out for a hot minute, there was a good time where, like, you would see, like, Tim's about to die in Detective, but then, like, oh, they're calling Nightwing over here, and you see Nightwing and his tie-in trying to call Midnighter, and it's like, they actually tried to keep continuity kind of stable for a little bit, and then when Tim died, the Teen Titans are mourning over here in their book and things of that nature. I really enjoy that type of continuity, where it's like, you're communicating, you're trying to get things fluid. Yeah, you might be in a different department, but you know what's going on in case you might bump heads. Or like, I remember, what was it, early 2000s? Wally died early on during Wade's run, and you had like Wallace West come from the future, and like the Titans took him on for a little bit and was like, oh, you're Dark Flash. Okay, cool. Good to know. Let's rock with it. And they kept it going.
And the other thing is, what better way to get people to read tie-ins if the continuity is strong?
Yes.
Right? Oh, so-and-so appears in this book over here. Yeah, but is it? Is it really? A lot of times, like in recent years, it really hasn't been. They got rid of so many old-timer editors, and the new editors they brought in, they think they're editors like, yeah, you do have to check to make sure the words are correct and that, like, something isn't misspelled or something like that's very low level. Really what the editors should be doing is continuity. And also they should know the Bible back and front for each character.
Yeah, to be honest with you.
Like that character, that person died. You can't bring that person up because they died. Unless you're bringing them back, and then like you have to have an arc of where they come back. A lot of that stuff. I think Krakoa was the biggest. It started out great.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then everybody that was under Hickman, their books kind of started to float away from the central, and they just got farther and farther away. And then you didn't even think it was the same story anymore, unless they said the word Krakoa in the book. You didn't even know it was the same continuity.
Right. It was very interesting the way they did that. But the one thing, like, you kind of brought up the big thing that I've been noticing as of late is that we're crossing almost like 120 days this weekend since DC gave a black character an ongoing series. And the last one that we had was I Am Batman, which was 18 issues, and that like they tried a Green Lantern War Journal, but that got moved from an ongoing to a limited series with 12 issues. But it's like it feels as if DC is afraid to give marginalized characters time to breathe. And I like, and you kind of like hit on that a little bit, the idea of them building a status quo and whatnot. And the one issue that I see, even with like the Mr. Terrific, is like I had to go out of my way to get this variant cover because of the fact that like you said, it was an incentive cover. They're harder to find and things of that nature because it's a commitment to jump on those books.
I don't know if they've ended Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, it was only 6 issues.
He's on hiatus. It was only 6 issues.
Yeah, it was only a 6 issue.
One of my better selling books outside of the Absolute world.
Really?
Absolutely.
Impressive. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a big problem with not having representation in their lines.
Wow. Okay.
I don't want a Justice League. Oh, well, we got Cyborg and the Teen Titans. I want a ongoing series of characters that are very diverse, because I have a very diverse population and customer base, and they're not looking for a character to switch race or sexuality or gender. They're looking for a new character or an established character to have their own damn book.
Yeah. And I even been talking about it recently where it's like, it feels as if they're afraid to let the book go on for a little bit and have diminishing sales, because truth be told, a perfect example was Milestone, because Milestone came back and then died off so fast to where it was like the compact static books have been going out to stores recently, and people have DM'd me.
Sell out for me.
It's like people DM me and they're like, "Where's more? We want more." And it's like, it's not there. It's like not enough people pre-ordered and supported it when it first came out to where it's
right. They also don't allow any big things to happen in those books. Mr. Terrific, great story, well written.
Yes.
But what did they allow happen?
It was a year one, so it was just like it was meant to be contained in that idea. Yeah.
We need first appearance of important characters. They need their own villains.
Yes.
So when Dan Didio was still at DC, they went on a road show. Him and Jim Lee went around, and I went to the one in New York City. They had a road show, and they were talking about what they were going to do. It was pre-COVID. I can't tell you what year. So it's at least 6 years ago. It could be 7 or 8.
Was it Future State that they were talking about?
They really weren't talking about Future State, because I think that idea had kind of been killed.
Okay.
Future State was really supposed to be 5G.
Yeah. I mean, when 5G was the big talk, yeah.
Right. And they kind of reined it back into Future State and then moved on from it quickly. And Didio was gone right after Future State. It was before Dark Knights. It had to be before then.
It was before Metal? Okay.
Yeah. So they had promised us that Cyborg was going to have his own title. Yeah, it's Rebirth.
Yeah, Rebirth? Oh, yeah, was he okay? Rebirth, that makes sense.
Because Nightwing and
because Nightwing was going to get like the suit back. He was done being Grayson. He was going to back to Nightwing. Then Cyborg got his own title.
Right. And then Cyborg, that were both going to be A-list characters from now on. They were going to get their own new villains, and they were going to stand behind the book going forward. Cyborg got 20 some on issues. Nightwing's still going.
Yeah.
But Cyborg only got like 24 issues.
I think Cyborg 36? Rebirth was like I think it was like 18, I believe. Let me double check, because I had that whole run collected, and I just sold it recently for the trades, because I was there like every day, every month on the dollar trying to get those issues, because Cyborg is one of my favorite characters.
It didn't make it more than 2 years. It didn't even make it 2 years.
It made it 2 years. It made it. It was only 23 issues, and the last 2 issues were canceled, actually.
Yeah. So there's not standing behind a character. They also didn't really give him that many new villains.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Well done or exciting. I don't think there was any. Well, you read it more than I did, and my memory for when
Like
I
there were
read
some
is
really
not
cool
great.
ideas. There were some cool new villains they were introducing, but then you could tell when they were like, "Oh, let's go to an alternate future and Beast Boy's here." They were like trying to gain the TV show audience a little bit to try to bolster the sales, but it was like by then the last two issues were
What kind
probably
of
already.
character growth was there to move him from a B or C level character
So,
to
from
an
what I
A level
recall,
character?
it was very focused on trying to establish him in Detroit, where he grew up. The idea of him trying to be more in tune with the culture, and they had new cybernetic villains, new technologically based villains. They introduced a female cyborg equivalent who she had got damaged in the military, and she like was like an anti-hero esque villain thing, romantic type thing. But it was
Okay.
like it just wasn't enough, and you could tell John Semper Jr.'s hands were tied in a lot of ways to where he wasn't allowed to innovate as much as he wanted to. Because there was a
Yeah.
great issue where like Vic just goes to a jazz club and he's trying to feel the music on a human level rather than a cybernetic level. And I remember that, and it's like you had so much of a great option
See,
here.
they should have went in way more into that
Yeah.
struggle between being between being human and being
Mm-hmm.
cybernetic. That would have been like really good,
Most definitely, yeah.
because we see now with AI, when it's let loose, that
Mm-hmm.
its solutions can be very scary.
Yeah.
So it would that constant struggle, that duality inside of himself would have been, oh, just such great storytelling.
Most definitely, but now they've done this weird thing where like everything's canon, and they're like, okay, cool, Vicky, you're back to the Teen Titans, and it's like, why? Like it was such a great move by Johns to put him with the League, but because the millennial generation is like, we want him back with the Titans, they tried to like say everything is canon, but like, and then even Morgan Hampton's recent miniseries with DC All In, it explored AI actually pretty well in terms of things, but it was only 5 issues, and they kept leaning on the Titans to get the readership in. And it was just
Right.
like, you don't need that. You just need to write a good story.
Yeah. And I mean, we do at least have Stewart for the Green Lanterns, but he needs to have his own series again.
Mm-hmm.
Solo series. I don't want to see him as a Green Lantern Corps.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the he was pretty much the focus in War Journal,
Yeah,
right?
War Journal was like, it was supposed to be his solo, but like it got cut to a limited.
Right, which was ridiculous because I was selling it. It was doing well for me. I I, I don't know what numbers they want in a character that needs time,
Mm-hmm.
because Batman had since 1938. I mean, 39. Superman from 1938.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of these characters have 70 years,
Right, and
right?
and it's like the one thing that like I hear a lot, because like you saying that you sold well on Mr. Terrific and John is crazy, because the thing that I hear a lot from stores is, oh, I bought a couple for my subscribers and then like one or two for the shelf. It's never, oh, I bought a lot because I saw potential in it. That's why even Mr. Terrific Year One, #1 was so hard to find when people saw the Superman movie and were like, now we want to go to the shop and find him. Oh, you
Yeah.
can't because
He
store owners
he's the
didn't
best thing that
buy
happened to
them.
that character.
Yes.
He's the best thing that happened to that character. He really
It was so
did
good.
him justice in the movie. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. I would have likened to him get a little bit more time.
Mm-hmm.
I was also sad that he didn't show up in Peacemaker.
Yeah, that was a weird choice. I feel like I think he could have been a great like antagonist to Peacemaker, and trying to explore that dynamic would have been great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's so hard, and in the independent realm, it's hard to find books
Mm.
of diversity. Um, I don't know. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, there's not a lot of black readers." That's bullshit.
Oh, okay.
That is, we have so many um, black men and women who are reading comics
Mm.
through my shop. Um, there, a lot of them are ending up moving to anime
Really?
and
Okay.
and manga, because there's really not, even though there's no black people in manga either, but the storytelling, at least a little bit more accessible, and
Mm.
connectivity, because of the way they
it's
they write their
collected better.
stories.
It's more
Yeah,
condensed and things of that nature. Yeah, that's big. That's a big argument people have been making as of late for
yeah,
manga being more like superior to comics in that way.
yep. I I I want to make more readers.
Mm.
More readers is better for the industry than speculators
Yes.
and collectors, um, and side hustle guys,
Mm.
um, people that are, really love the storytelling, and it's unique. It's real literature.
Right.
I mean, I think it's the University of not Minnesota, Michigan.
I believe so. Yeah,
Michigan.
I know what you're talking about. They do
Yeah.
the whole Batman course, and it's like,
Well, yeah, but they also have like an entire library
oh
of
wow,
almost every comic that's ever been
I need to
released.
go look at that. Actually, I'm not. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm in Ohio. I might have to go look at
it's
that.
crazy. It's either Michigan or Minnesota.
I'm going to
I know
Michigan
it's
in
been
March
one.
because I'm going to Corpse Tour with James Tynan. So like I might have to go
Oh,
check that
cool.
out. But
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like but that like brings up an interesting conversation though, is the idea of like indie titles as well as the absolutes.
right.
I've been noticing recently that a lot more readers have been exploring indie titles, and you're seeing indie titles be picked up for like TV shows and movies of that nature. What is the indie book selection been like, or like when it comes to your readers? Because it seems as if the more accessible jumping on point has been the big ticket for a lot of individuals.
Yeah, and you know, sadly, they're also usually like in short runs, except for something's killing children.
Mm.
Walking. There are exceptions that have very long runs, monstrous,
Yeah.
but usually their short runs can be up to 12. A lot of times they're 6 issues. A lot of times they're cut short because their print run goes below the level,
Mm-hmm.
and like if you're at Image, you have to pay for that out of the sales.
Right.
And there's a number that once you go below that, you're going to have to cough up profits from
Mm.
earlier books to pay for the
I
print of
didn't
the
know
next
that. That's
book.
crazy.
Oh yeah, because there's a standard fee. It's like $2,500, $2,600, something like that, that they charge because they don't own the characters.
Right.
They kind of facilitate it for people, although they do pick and choose who gets to put their book out.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't let everybody come through.
Of course,
The
yeah.
people that do get to keep their IP, but there's a $2,600 fee for printing and so
Mm-hmm.
forth, and then you make everything after the fee. I don't know if
Okay.
they've raised it or whatever. Um,
Learned something new today. Wow. Okay.
right, and then if your numbers go below that 2,600,
Mm-hmm.
which would pay for it, from the orders.
Right.
The orders would automatically pay that 2,600 is what I'm
Okay.
saying. Right? If you dip below that, you have to cough up that extra.
Gotcha.
But then once the sales happen, maybe you'll make a little bit, maybe you
Mm-hmm.
won't. But yeah, so that's why a lot of them are cut short. And things you think were supposed to be 12 issues are now 9 or
Mm-hmm.
6 or whatever, and they have to wrap up stories that were really good. The problem is that snobberies where people are like, you go into a lot of places and they only have Marvel or DC,
Mm.
or they put the independents on a whole different
Yeah,
shelving.
I've noticed that. Yeah.
You have to really hand sell independents, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is such good stuff. Like follow writers and artists. Like if they're
Mm.
your favorite writer and artist and they have a brand new book coming out independent, they make more money that way than they
Mm-hmm.
do at Marvel or DC. So you should support it. Skin Breaker,
Oh yes.
so
When
good.
I heard the story about that, how Kirkman was just like, dude, go paint, go have fun, and then we'll do that when you're done. I thought that was the
Yeah,
coolest thing. I gained so much respect for Kirkman for just letting him cook like that. That's just a crazy.
it is a book that I wait every month to come out, and I snatch up as soon as my books arrive, and I read before I even go through the books.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's great. There's been a lot of really good stuff. People have to be willing to explore and discover. I think discovery's been kind of tamped down,
Why do you think? Why do
right?
you think that is?
I think the internet and YouTube,
Ooh, okay.
right? So if you go to what are the best books to buy this week?
Mm.
what's the top 10? So like it cuts I want to buy something from the top 10 this week. I
Oh,
don't want to discover this book I've never heard of from an publisher I've never heard of.
that's a good point. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of my peers make that kind of content, but I never thought of that being a negative towards the indies and whatnot. Wow.
Well, you know what a lot of people don't know is that your IQ as you get older shrinks.
Yeah.
And it's because your experience
Mm-hmm.
closes the box. So if you're not an out of the box thinker,
Mm-hmm.
your experience is, oh, last week I watched the top 10, what to buy this week, and I enjoyed everything. I got everything and I enjoyed everything.
Mm-hmm.
So your experience is they know all the good books.
Yeah.
There's not something they're missing.
It's kind of like how Rotten Tomatoes kind of influenced an entire generation of like moviegoers in that aspect.
Yeah. So like if you don't get a good Rotten Tomatoes score, good luck.
Yeah.
You know, people aren't going to come out to the film. And especially if you get the people who watch it early, get to watch it early, and then they go rate it. And then you're like, I'm not going to go see that. Everybody hated it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe they're not the same as you.
Right. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. So like,
Yeah. So hand selling,
yeah.
like at a shop that's indie centric, hand selling is really what I think
Okay.
you have to do as a shop owner is like keep that discovery going.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I tell people, look, this is something I liked. You may
Right.
not like it, but if you want to try something new that's doing something exciting, try this book. If you don't like it, you can bring it back and I'll trade you for something else.
I love that. I wish more stores would do
yeah.
that. Holy crap. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, but more stores are interested. My store will survive with or without comics.
Yeah, well, so you have enough like to rock with that because you made the ability to have like games, cards, etc. Not every store can do that.
I made that pivot early on because comics were in a big lull.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do comics, so I knew I was going to have to sell other stuff if I wanted to sell comics. So I also don't chase all the like I said, I don't grade, and there's so many things I don't do that make the big money in comics. So, but a lot of guys are concentrated on selling. They know what sells, right? They're not interested in building readers that are going to grow their business for years, right? Like I have subscribers that have been with me for 10, 11 years and they read books every week.
Yeah.
And imagine if we had stores across the country.
Yeah.
Right. And each one of them was making new readers. How healthy would the comic?
It would definitely be like
then?
more similar to the early 2000s or like the 80s, where like before the bubble burst, you would see a different dynamic in that way.
Well, I think the early 2000s, they had to produce really good books because they were looking to save the industry.
Yeah.
It was shrinking at such a fast rate that they needed to do something. And it's proven time and time again. I don't know why it's not getting up to the CEOs. Every time you do really good stories, the industry goes up.
Yeah.
Absolute Batman, all the absolute stories. I think Scott, I haven't spoke to him in a while. I think Scott is on top of reading all the scripts, being involved in all the different writers. I don't think he's telling them what to write.
Right.
But I think he's making sure that the continuity is tight.
I remember meeting him at Cincinnati Comic Expo back the week after Metal 1 dropped. And it's so funny too, because like he still owes me an interview from that I'm like waiting like when he gets a free week, that I'm like, wow, I have a video of you saying that you would do an interview with me, dang it. But it's like, even then, when he's like trying to juggle metal and his own indie stuff and he's about to hop on League, you can see the passion in him, even when he's tired. Like he wants to change the industry for the better. I remember when his League was coming out, he was like, who do you want to see on this book? Everyone was like, the JLU team. He was like, all right, cool, we'll do it. And it ended up being one of the best decisions for that book.
Yeah, he does so his Substacks is a teaching spot for him. He's not selling books. He's teaching you how to write comics. So do you know he taught Tiny at NYU
Yeah.
and V. So like these are the type of talents that he's producing. So if you're interested in writing comics, it's only $75 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And like an NYU class would cost you $3 to $8 grand
Yeah.
and you get a whole year's worth of classes every Thursday. Like, he's just really wants to make this industry huge again, and it deserves to be.
Most definitely.
A lot of people are like a lot of adults who were never read comics think they're for children.
Yeah.
There's almost no books written for children anymore.
Honestly, yeah, like you have like the kid-centric books, but like this is an adult or at least like older teenager adult medium at this point. It's definitely reached that pivot. I remember there was an interview with Gaiman back in like the early 2000s where like we were fighting against that stigma for so many years. He would say that's why he made Sandman the way it was. And granted, we don't like holler at Gaiman the way we used to anymore, but it's like even back then he was trying to make a point. And do you see Snyder trying to have that kind of influence now where he wants to get us back to that kind of like where we're getting healthy? But it's like we now have that ability now because like we're outside of a monopoly now. Like we were like being like held up by toothpicks of a monopoly for so many years with Diamond. Like what has that experience been like trying to cultivate now that it's two distributors rather than one distributor holding up the whole industry?
More than two distributors.
Oh, it's more than two. I thought it was just Lunar and Penguin. That's even more now.
So there is Lunar and Penguin do Marvel and DC, so everybody's like focused on them.
Right.
But there's a lot of small distributors that are doing. Probably one of the larger small distributors is Filbo out of Long Island.
Ooh, okay. Filbo.
Yeah, Filbo Distro. Yeah.
Okay. I might have to do some research later.
Yeah, so they do a lot of like indies you've never heard of.
Really? Okay.
And there's a lot of diverse books there.
Oh, okay.
There's another one called Panelfly.
Panelfly. I'm learning new things today. This is awesome.
So Panelfly, you can buy books that were on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and so basically he takes your orders and then sends it to and then they ship it to you.
Okay.
So he's only like a marketplace.
Gotcha. Okay.
And like there's a retail, and you can buy it if you're not a retailer. You can also buy, but there's two different things there. And then there's Universal, who bought Alliance Games.
Okay.
So Universal is the distributor of comics in Canada and the UK.
Okay.
And now they own Alliance, and they're doing DC Comics currently.
Okay.
They are also the owners of Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to be handling Free Comic Book Day, except for Marvel, who decided to do their own, but to keep it on the exact same day Free Comic Book Day is done, so they don't really have to put in any money into marketing.
Right.
Instead of making it all one thing, they're going to have their own named thing on the same day that Free Comic Book Day is.
Interesting.
And they're launching the new X-Men book.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right? So I think that's just bad play for the industry. Like
do you miss Diamond?
Thing. I do.
Interesting. Okay.
I do. Unlike so many other comic dealers who owed them a ton of money, right? $33 million owned by comic shops.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish somebody had told me. I wouldn't have paid my bill either.
Right.
But I was completely current with them to the end. But Steve was very good for comic shops. I mean, they let them build these huge debts, and you know, they made a lot of mistakes at the end. Now that they're gone, we are getting more damages from both companies. The packaging is not as nice because now they're seeing what it's like to package all these other companies. When Lunar and Penguin were just doing Marvel and DC, packaging was just Marvel and DC.
Right.
Oh, Image. Okay. No, it's just Image and DC. Now it's Image, DC, and so many other
and then
books.
Boom slid in, and it's like more things come and go. It's like a very interesting dynamic.
Now they can't really keep up, and they're having a hard time, and they're making mistakes just like Diamond did. I think Diamond's mistake was a lot of their distribution was done instead of ownership, where they could go in and fire people if they weren't packing correctly, or doing actual classes on how to pack, stuff like that. They didn't own that. They rented that.
I actually didn't know that. Wow.
Through another company.
Okay.
They did have their own warehouse their major warehouse, but the other warehouses were not.
Okay.
So I think that was a problem. They probably should have taken over. I don't think they took really advantage of themselves being a monopoly. They didn't turn the screw on the percentages that they wanted from, but of course Marvel and DC thought they were paying too much.
Yeah, there was that at times.
So, I mean, when they moved over to Lunar dropped my percentage to 35%. So I give my subscribers 15% off.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm making 20%, but I pay for shipping. So I'm not really making 20% on DC books. And the reason why I was mad about that, and I guess it's DC has that, it's not really Lunar, it's DC, whatever. It's still, you made a bad product, and I'm supposed to warehouse your bad product to continue to get 50% off.
Right, yeah.
So I had a problem with that. If you were making excellent product and I couldn't sell enough, that's on me. But when like the books were just horrible, I don't know how to sell books that, you don't get trusted by your clientele on hand selling when you start hand selling them books that are just not good.
Right. And then like, what was the experience like? I know the big thing recently was the blind bags with Marvel. Like, did you have any issue with that?
So I didn't. So Penguin's website for ordering takes up a lot of resources.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty archaic for whatever I've been told about it.
Yes. And when I say resources, I mean it'll load and load and load and load. And then every time you put a book, you have to click to put it in your cart. You get the spin. So what I did was I took out all the variants.
Oh.
So less stuff loaded. So I could actually do my order. I missed it. But then somebody reminded me, I went in after FOC and I ordered. And I still got them, believe it or not.
Okay.
But I went very, very light.
Okay.
Because Ultimates really has slid off the map for me.
Really?
The story started really good.
Okay.
And they just not good.
Interesting.
So I ordered maybe 15 and I had 2 damages.
Okay, that's not horrible.
No, but also I got like at the very end after they shipped everybody else's books. I got mine 2 days after they were supposed to be out.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting.
So I didn't have the problems that everybody else had. I actually have one right here because I had it on the show the other day. So, yeah. But my problem was they had A covers.
That was the big thing for a lot of people. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. and the Daredevil coming up, it's the same thing. All the books I can open order, I can also get in blind bags. So why do I order anything but blind bags?
The people have been wondering about that. Like you're able to confirm that like blind bags have cover A's too?
Their list of what's in the blind bag and their FOC, pretty much the same thing, except for like you can get sketches and you can get 1 in 25s. Like, so you can get, but like to make it so that they had more in there, but they still want to sell those books. So they're selling them on open order too.
Right.
So, yeah, I went very light on those 2. I think I got 10 and I only ordered the blind bags.
Okay.
I'm excited for the series.
Right. Of course.
Because I do think she's a good writer. I had a lot of people on Grimm that she wrote for a long time. And then she did something else.
I'm going to say Planet She-Hulk has been pretty good recently that she's been doing.
Right. Planet She-Hulk, which I didn't expect to sell at all, but her story. I mean, that's the thing is that character doesn't matter. It doesn't. If you have a really good writer, they can make them interesting and exciting, and and interesting is the biggest thing. Is like, let's do some character building with some of these characters that kind of are a mess.
Yeah. Well, like, and one thing that I've kind of even like, I don't know if you can speak on this because, like you said, you've had a variety of different kind of like clientele. One thing that I noticed when having conversations about even Miles Morales recently is like people say, "Oh, it's black fans' fault if black superheroes don't do well," but I say it's not technically that because if anything, black fans or even marginalized fans in general, like women or like people of color or queer people, they have to work doubly as hard to get eyes on their book, to get like fans of their book, because white fans or straight fans or male fans can just choose to go pick up Batman. They don't have to identify or choose to ignore the skin color or whatever of that character.
100%. I think you're right on the nose with that. Like they can go to Marvel or DC. There's every book that's there is all white faces, so they can pretty much pick any one of them. There should be integration in the groups. There should be a good representation in all books, but they should have their own books. And it isn't upon the marginalized to make a book a success. If you write it well, I think one of the things that we got away from is that great writers write great stories, whether they are of color, queer, or white.
Yeah.
To say that people can't write a story, if they're great storytellers, they can tell a story. Now, if it's specifically about a cultural thing, like if you place that character in a place in America and make it a cultural thing, you need somebody that has experienced that culture.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So I want a person from that to write that book. But if the character is invented by the storyteller, or if they have a long history of already a background and a Bible, anybody can write. You want good writers. The problem is that when they went to do it for queer characters in DC, one, I felt that a lot of the characters were token.
Yeah.
They just switched them. The other, I think they could have found better writers.
Fair enough. I'll give you that.
And from the queer community, I just think the writing wasn't that good.
Fair enough. I must say, I do think there was some people who were shocked by, like, even Tim Drake, his book. I thought it was solid. I like the art wasn't there for everybody. But even there was a great example of like a breakout queer writer in Tate Broadwell as of late, because he was on a Barbalian, and then he had some more indie stuff with Tinian and whatnot, and it's like, that shows right there someone who can come in and do great work and whatnot.
Has paid their dues.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We haven't just plucked them out of the peanut gallery because they were the loudest voice or something like that. I think we just find really good storytellers. Give them a chance. I don't care. Give them a chance. If they can't do it, not everybody can.
Yeah, and
maybe they're novelists. Writing a novel, we've had a lot of novelists move over to comics and fail big.
Yeah.
It's totally different storytelling. I am not a fan of Neil Gaiman, never was, because the way he writes comics, to me, is more prose with art.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
I like sequentials. That is what I grew up with. It's what I love about comics. Some of the people that really, for me, but they did both. Tim Truman, Mike Barron, Mike Grell. Like, they're older guys that aren't in the business anymore. But like, teams have been really Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Like,
that's just peanut butter and jelly right there. Like,
and so now also with Nick Dragata. I mean, that's also been amazing.
Yes.
Hayden Sherman and man, I'm so bad with names. The woman who's writing Wonder Woman.
Kelly Thompson.
Kelly Thompson. and I like Kelly Thompson's work.
Or like one that I always point to that I'm still sad that like they don't get to do more of is David F. Walker and Sanford Green. Like they started out with Power Man and Iron Fist, and they went off with Chuck Brown and did Bitterroot, and it's like that literally is like iconic,
fantastic book.
Yes,
I still recommend that book.
I just got the hardcover omnibus for Christmas. Like, this thing is gorgeous. I still have it in the wrapping. Like, it's that good.
Sadly, I don't do omnibuses.
Really? Why is that? And like, what is your trade experience like that?
It's a total business decision.
Mm-hmm.
You see the amount of space this omnibus takes up,
mm-hmm.
the amount of cash flow you tie up in an omnibus.
Mm-hmm.
I can buy a short box of books for that money.
Now the question is, if someone sees like in the previews or in like on a solicitation,
orders are different.
Okay,
it's from my hands to their hands. I'm not putting it on a shelf,
right? Okay,
waiting for somebody to come by.
But you're seeing it as a bad investment in terms of like leaving on a shelf, is what you're saying.
As a businessman, gotcha. Yeah, my square footage and my shelf, every inch, you have to figure all the time. Mm-hmm. That's another problem with the comic business. So many people go out of business. They go, "Oh, it's the comics." It's not. It's the businessman.
Speak on it.
There's 1,200 comic stores still open. There's guys that own 7 comic stores. There's guys that own 5 comic stores.
There's guys doing it out of their garage right now because they got a Lunar account. Like, anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it if you're good at business. Mm-hmm. I could be in any business. I choose to be in comics because I love them so much. Mm-hmm. Right? And if you're good at business and you love comics, great place to make a living. Mm-hmm. If you're not great at business and you just want to be a 600 square foot local comic shop and you want to make 35, 40 grand a year, you're in a place where that's like median income. Mm-hmm. And that'll feed your family. You definitely could make that easy. Some months, no, but like you have to know how to
balance it out and whatnot.
Gear your stuff, balance it all out. But, I'm looking for a location for a second store.
Oh, wow.
I have people interested in franchising. If you're good at business, you can be in business in anything. Mm-hmm. Don't blame comics when somebody goes out of business because they made 6 exclusives in a row and every single one of them was a loser. Ooh. Like back in the day, you had to buy 3,000 Marvel books.
Yeah.
Right? Almost 12 grand invested. Mm-hmm. But you could get $20 a book. Mm-hmm. But if nobody was interested, you ate all of that. 6 losers in a row.
Yeah.
How do you stay in business? Well, you don't pay your bill to Diamond, and then they go out of business.
Yeah.
So, it's if you love comics, even if you're not great at business, you could make yourself a living. If you want to own a 3,000, 6,000, 8,000 square foot store, you're no longer really a comic shop. You're a retail store, and you have employees and different insurances and a lot of stuff. It's not a little thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think any local comic shop could survive because people are looking for stuff to do. The culture is shifting. People are coming out. Like we talked about before the show, my magic event, I'm completely at capacity. I had to turn people away. People are looking to get back out into communities. And if you offer people a community, they will come.
Most definitely. Yeah. Now that the pandemic is over, people are wanting to actually engage with people and be social. Like, yeah, there's some people who enjoy being at home on their own, but like the idea of being around people and socializing, even con talk. I went to 3 different cons over the summer. Like the environment felt like it was pre-pandemic in that aspect.
Yeah. Yeah. The excitement was back. I seen a lot of people not just like, oh, I'm doing this because it's habit. I seen a lot more people that I'm doing this because it's fun.
Most definitely.
Because there was years that like you go in and everybody kind of seems to be slogging around. They're not like excited and happy to be there. They're just like, this is another year I got to come. So I say that I go every year.
That's fair enough.
We're creatures of habit, and it happens. But you got to invigorate and revitalize
Gonna
people's
embolden people to
spirit.
actually keep going in that
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah.
So in terms of this, like the one thing I always tell people is like what like the closing statement is the idea of like in terms of what do you want to leave newer comic fans with, because we see the issues going on with the industry, like even people like my peers who make new comic book day videos every week, some of them didn't know that the sales are actually what you buy, not what they pick up off the shelf, and that the pre-orders do matter. So like
I actually,
what
yeah,
what do you want to leave people with in that aspect of trust, like the future of the industry, and like what they
right.
should focus on?
So I know there's a lot of pirating of comics going on, and
Mm,
I think if you can't afford to buy everything you want to read, I get it.
mm.
I mean, when Napster came out, I was still kind of young,
Yeah.
not super young, but like, yeah, I would rip some music from there,
Mm,
and but you're not being counted.
mm,
So when you're reading a book and you're like, this is a great book, and it ends, and you're like, oh, I really love that book. That's because they didn't count you.
mm,
Be counted. If you love a book and you're buying another book because you think it's going to be valuable, but you're not that interested in it, but you really love this book, so you're reading it online for free,
mm.
switch.
Yes.
Whatever you love, you should be counted for.
Mm,
If you're just, oh, this is not that great, but I'm bored and I want to read. Yeah, okay, I get it. But if you love it, you should be counted.
mm,
Be counted it's important. And in the not only in the comic industry, but in everything. If you're not being counted, don't don't be surprised when you get pushed aside and
mm,
and invisible. Right? Right now you're invisible to the comic community when you're doing that.
mm,
You want to be counted. The other thing is that even if you can't afford to buy comics, go to your comic shop.
mm.
If like I can't speak for every comic shop, and you all can't come to my comic shop, but find the community to talk about comics you're excited about. I I try to read everything.
Mm.
There is so much I can't read
Right. Yeah.
because I have so many SKUs now. I have sports cards and video games and vinyl records, and I'm always buying. So in the little time I have with comics, I read the stuff I love first,
Hmm.
and then I try to discover something.
Right.
Every week I try to discover a new book. It's not always a winner, but I try,
Hmm.
right? There might be opportunities at some comic shops to be allowed to try stuff. I mean, sometimes, hey, you want to alphabetize for an hour? I'll give you a couple of comic books.
Mm,
You know, there's all kinds of stuff like that. Um, be part of the community. Be counted.
mm,
Um, if you don't think you're being represented in the comic community, represent yourself.
mm,
Right? Make sure they know you're there,
mm.
because you know people. You won't realize how many people are looking for you until you show up.
I love that. I must say, man, thank you so much for this interview. It means so
Oh,
much to
thank you
me.
for having me. I
I
appreciate it.
must say,
Sorry for the big
oh no,
mess.
no, no, like this is phenomenal. Like I really appreciate it, and like I'm excited to share this with everyone.